wait, hold on now. Let me show you something real quick. Right? Let me get Exodus chapter 20. Right? Real quick. They not close to no time.
Yeah, but I gotta see it real quick.
We gotta see something. We gotta see something real quick.
Gotta take care of them babies. Great job.
I understand that. You know, we gotta take care of people too.
Yeah.
We understand.
Okay.
Bring this out real quick. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse number 8. Because today is a specific day. Today is a special day. Right? I'm gonna show you. Remember the Sabbath day. Remember the what? Remember the Sabbath day. Lord said, hey, remember the Sabbath day. You're trying to jog your memory. Right? Saying, remember the Sabbath day. You got to remember it. Because once upon a time, you knew this once before. Right? But the Lord is telling you, remember the Sabbath day. Right? Read on. To keep it holy. You got to keep it holy. Keep it separate from all the other days of the week. Read on. 6 days shalt thou do all thy labor. So you do, in 6 days, you do all your work. Do everything that you got to do. And do all thy work. Right. But the seventh day, which is today at sundown, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, read on, is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Today is the Sabbath. Right, read on. In it thou shalt not do any work. You can't do any work on the Shabbat, on the Sabbath day. Read on. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. So everybody within your household can't work. Even going down to your cattle, which goes also with your pets, right? Nobody can do any work on the Sabbath day. Let me get Nehemiah 10 verse number 31. All right, Nehemiah 10 verse number 31. Because there's more, right? We can't work on the Sabbath, and what else? This Nehemiah chapter 10 and verse number 31.
Bring it out.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, certain things that these other nations will sell to us, certain, clothing, or certain merchandise, right? Read on. Or you're taking to play the lottery, for example, certain things to sell, because they're going to sell that to you.
Yeah.
Right? Read on. That we will not buy it of them on the Sabbath. That what? That
we will not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
Even though they tempt us to buy in certain things, right? We're not to buy it on the Sabbath. Today is the Sabbath day, Elder. And you kind of know what that means. Right? You kind of can't buy that thing.
You know what time it is.
Right?
Yeah.
This other day, because when is the lottery hit? Monday, Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday? Wednesday too?
I'm not sure.
You can play that thing on Saturday sundown.
I used to. I don't play for myself. I play for my sisters and my siblings like that. I'm not for myself. I don't do it.
The purpose of it don't have to change, right? But the timing does, right? Because according to the Lord, we're not supposed to buy on the Sabbath day. These other nations know exactly what they're doing. They make the most of their money from us on the Sabbath day, your Friday and your Saturday. Imagine if everybody were to keep the Sabbath day of the Lord.
They wouldn't make no money.
They wouldn't make no money. They wouldn't be on our blocks no more, right? We'll be able to save a whole bunch more money, right? Yeah, we gonna brother gonna hook you up with a. Most I will take your number down. All right. Yeah, take it.
I don't believe in cell phone.
You don't believe the cell phone?
Nope.
Why?
Man, back in the day, we just write a letter from the south to here. Write letters.
My brother got pen and paper. Let's write something down for the elder. Contact information. We got a Facebook and YouTube as well. If you want to, look at that, maybe on the TV.
I'll put it down to my grandkids.
Oh, exactly. All praise to the Most High.
My future.
All right. All praise.
My children, they out there. Grandkids, granddad. Those ones that do.
All praise to the Most High.
I come from reading the Bible, teaching every day. And I'm like, we got to do this, that, and that. Time to get up early. 65. Time to stop. I'm over you back.
It's that memory, right? Y'all, the time of what? You was born in 1956?
1957.
In the time of the 60s is where our grandparents were reading the Bible. A lot of our grandparents, right, were reading the Bible in the 1960s. Right? They was getting into the scriptures. Grandmama made sure that she opened up that Bible to you at nighttime.
Before you left out.
Exactly. Before you left out the house.
Yeah.
At them times, they had Bibles in the schools as well, right?
Yeah.
In the hotel room.
Now
they don't have them. They took them out of that school.
not the hotels and all.
Right? Ultimately, because they didn't want you to learn about that Sabbath day, Elder.
They want us to know what's really going on.
Exactly.
Get in the
So
stock.
now that you understand that you can't buy on the Sabbath day, you're going to go and...
Not for me. Not for me, though.
Okay, let me get Leviticus chapter 19. All Right? In verse number 17. All right, bring it up. That's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse number 17. Just because it ain't for you doesn't mean that you got to go and do it for them, right? Because then you're now going against the Lord for your family.
Be obedient and what you give your word to God.
Exactly. But at the same time, you gave your word to the Lord.
Yeah.
You were supposed to. You're coming back to the covenant of the Lord. You're understanding the covenant of the Lord. A covenant. This is a blood covenant. So it binds us, and your word is your bond.
Yeah.
We said, hey, my ancestors, right,
right?
being descendants from my ancestors, we hold on to that too. We told the Lord, hey, we gonna serve you, right? And we was gonna do all these things for you. Now we still gotta hold up to that bond that we had even today. So it's either you hold on to your bond of the Lord, or you hold on to the bond of your mother. Or your kids, or any of that. Who you gonna choose? Let me get Acts chapter 5, verse number what's that? 29. You gotta make a choice. I mean, and it ain't really hard, Elder. Right? What is that? That's the book of Acts chapter 5 and verse number 29. Pick it up. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, "We ought to obey God rather than men." We what? We ought to obey God rather than men. What the Elder gotta do?
We ought to obey God rather than men.
Now, Elder, we got it. I seen you mouthing it too. Now, we gotta obey God rather than men. So if God says, "Hey, don't buy on the Sabbath," and somebody tells you, "Hey, go out and play the lottery for me," right? Wow, is the Sabbath of the Lord. What you gonna do, Elder? What choice you gonna make? You gonna go buy that for them on the Sabbath, or you gonna listen to the Lord and Him telling you, "Hey, don't buy on the Sabbath"?
It's not for me.
It's not. Let me get Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17.
Not for me.
That's Leviticus chapter 19 and verse number 17. It don't matter. It don't matter, Elder. Right? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. All right, let's go back to the laws. Read on. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. You got to give correction. You know about the Sabbath day. Yeah. So if you know that you can't work or sell on the Sabbath day, you should go back home and be like, "Hey, I couldn't get it today. Today is the Lord's Sabbath." Right? That wouldn't be a lie.
You let her know. I want people to see for her playing a lot of.
I understand that.
And
not suffer sin upon him. See you and not what? And not what? And not suffer sin upon him. Hey sis. Yeah, real quick, if we Hebrew Israelites, right? Yeah, we not a religion. We a nation of people.
I used to study Israelite, but y'all saying God and Lord, we say Yahweh. That's what y'all throwing me off with.
Come back out here and talk to me there. All right, we'll write that down. Right? But read that again. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. You got to correct your neighbor. You got to correct the people that's trying to make you do things that go against God. Right? Read on. And not suffer sin upon him. So that it won't be suffering sin upon him. Right? Whoever told you to go and buy this on the Sabbath day is trying to suffer sin upon him. Now, what happens when you commit sin?
You'll be punished.
By what type of punishment? Is it kind of a smack on the hand, or a kind of, how grandma used to do? She used to pinch you and twist it. Is it one of those type of punishments? No. Let me get Romans chapter 6 and 23. I got a question. Just because it said that it's not for him, right? This is the book of, let me see. Let me get Romans 6 and verse 23 out. All right, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 23, and verse number 2. You said it ain't for you, right? Read on. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. You can't follow a multitude to do evil. This is what would be considered evil in the eyes of the Lord if you go ahead and buy on the Sabbath day, right? And we just had to warn you, right? Read on. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many rest judgment. Right? Read on. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. So your countenance can't go low, right? You can't go low. You can't allow your countenance to go low just because you got to do the work of the Lord. The Lord told you not to buy on the Sabbath, right? And if you were to go buy on the Sabbath, there comes consequences. But there comes harsh consequences, right? The Lord deals. Hey, there was a punishment for us with slavery. Yeah. A whole bunch of things happened in slavery. So-called white men cut our women's stomachs open, right? Took the babies out and sewed them up with cats, right? The so-called white man put 2 horses on the side of a man and smacked the horses and ripped them apart, right? That's the Levi symbol on your pants, right? It's getting sold on slave ships, right? Getting sold into slavery, right? And going through all this, the picking the cotton, right? All this happened as a punishment. So it ain't no easy thing, right? There's things that happen to you that are severe, right? It's a life or death situation here, elder. Let me get that in Romans chapter 6 and verse number 23.
This is Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
For the what?
For the wages of sin is death.
So what comes with sin is death. If you go up in here, elder, and you go buy on the Sabbath day after the Lord, let me get Hebrews chapter 10, right? If you go up in here and buy that, the Lord has all right to kill you, right? And we don't want to see, Lord, hey, we don't want to see you dead, elder. We want to see you live. A lot of our people talk about death nowadays. No, we want to see it well. Where's life at? We want to live. We don't want to die. We want to live.
Right.
So if you want to live, elder, you would not go in that store to go buy that on the Sabbath day. It don't matter who told you to go and do it. The Lord goes over all people, right? The Lord is really ultimately the one that you're supposed to be listening to, right? So if the Lord told you, hey, don't go buy them on Sabbath day, and whoever told you, hey, go get that, go get that lottery ticket on Saturday, on Friday, who you gonna listen to, elder?
Have faith in good Lord.
You're supposed to, but what you gonna do? We know we supposed to listen to God, but what you gonna do?
Hey, I'm gonna come pick myself. But I don't want to hear her mouth. I'm gonna listen to the good Lord. Don't get me wrong.
So you would much rather want to hear the mouth of the Lord than
I prefer to.
Exodus 20.
Let's get that. Exodus chapter 20. All right. You would much rather want to feel the wrath of the Lord, right?
I
Than
prefer to listen to the Lord.
but at the same that listening, if you break His laws, come consequences, which is death.
I know that.
So would you rather take death than to hear the mouth of whoever told you to go and get that?
No.
I think, come, bring that out. Then you should be listening to what God said.
I got His word already.
But at the same time, you gotta, let me get James chapter 1 and verse number 22, right? We have to apply it to our life. We gotta apply it now that we know about it. He told you to remember, because if you don't remember, He don't have pleasure in killing you, but He will, right? So He's telling you, remember, do this, do that, remember this, remember that. Trying to jam it into your brain. Even though we want to say, hey, you know God, right? But we don't do the things that God told us to do. And we always want to expect blessings, but they never gonna come our way if we continue to break the laws of the Lord, which one of them is that we cannot buy on the Sabbath day, right? Bring that up.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, and verse number 26. For if we sin willfully,
Right, read on.
after that we have received the knowledge of the truth.
So you just received the knowledge of the truth right now. But if you go ahead and do that willingly, which is buying on the Sabbath, read on.
There remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
There's nothing that you can try to do to get that sin off.
But
now you're working on the Most High's mercy. But the Most High does not have to have mercy on you. When you know better, you do better. But if you know better and you don't want to do better, the Lord don't have to deal with you. Right, read on.
there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins,
Right.
but of a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation.
It's the fiery indignation. That's the anger of the Lord. That's wrath. Now certain things are going to happen to you, right? And we will much rather want to see life than death, elder, because tomorrow's not promised us. We don't know what'll happen to you if you go by that, try to hop into your car, and a lot of things. There's a lot of things that the Lord could do to you just by breaking His laws, right? And you know better. And when you know better, you're supposed to what? Do better, right? Read on.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary.
It's going to devour you. The Lord will see you as an adversary, somebody that's against Him, when you are against His laws, when you don't want to keep His laws. Even if somebody tell you, this is for example, the so-called white man told us as soon as COVID came out, he said, hey, put your mask on, you'll live. God said, keep His commandments and live. That's Proverbs chapter 7 and verse number 2. A lot of people chose, hey, I'm gonna put on my mask, I'm gonna live. The so-called white man told me I'm gonna live. And then they died 15 minutes later.
With his mask on.
Right? They died 15 minutes later. With they mask on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Lord told you all along, just keep my commandments and you'll live. We've been masked off since COVID.
Literally.
Haven't put on a mask.
I
And
don't
you
wear
see
it
us still here.
either. I don't wear it either.
We ain't stopped going out. Right?
But even to that point, with the mask, it's actually harming you more than helping you.
Right.
Because you're recirculating the same breath. Like you're breathing in it, it's not getting fresher breath. So basically putting on that mask is killing you and making your immune system weaker to get whatever virus thing out there. So yeah, so that's why we don't believe man, we rather believe God rather than man.
Look at Ezekiel 33 verse 5.
Because he said he don't want to hear her mouth when he get back home. This is the book of Psalms chapter 94 and verse number 16.
Bring it out.
Who will rise up for me against the evildoer?
Who gonna rise up for the Lord against the evildoers? Who's gonna go against them people that's telling them, hey, go do such and such against the Lord? Who's gonna go against them? Who's gonna be who's gonna go against the workers of iniquity?
We here for
Right?
y'all.
We don't?
Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
Are you willing to stand up to whoever told that was your mother? Sister, are you willing to stand up against your sister for the Lord? Yeah. So if this is exactly the situation that's going on
I'm
now.
not going to stand for my sister against the Lord, no.
You said what?
There's no win.
Exactly. So this is the situation now. You gotta go against your sister for the Lord right now.
Right.
Your sister told you, hey, go buy this lottery ticket while it's on the Sabbath day of the Lord. The Lord, on the other hand, telling you, hey, don't buy on my Sabbath.
That's a lot.
So it's either you gonna listen to your sister or you gonna listen to the Lord. Now, common sense, wisdom, and any Israelites to tell you, I'm listening to God. Right? So if we gonna listen to God, and if you gonna listen to God, Elder, you will not walk in that liquor store.
I'm going
And
to
buy-
to get me a beer now.
You wouldn't, but you won't even go and buy that. You can't buy. It didn't tell you what you can't buy, right? The object wise, but it just said you can't buy. So there's no buying anything.
Buy tomorrow night.
Exactly. Tomorrow night.
That's when the Sabbath over.
You can buy a beer tomorrow.
I mean, come on Saturday.
Then buy it Sunday morning, Elder. This all comes with. This shouldn't be a hard thing, Elder, because this comes with the Lord is teaching us preparation. We gotta prepare before the Sabbath.
I understand what you guys are saying.
I want to remind you real quick. We ain't saying nothing.
No.
God is saying it all.
It's come from you guys. It comes from the man.
Okay.
Understand?
All praise the Most
On
High.
Fridays, I would go out and get paid on Fridays. I'd go out partying, this time, this thing and the other. I did that for over about 25, 30 years. Not saying it was right, but just, being raised like that all
We was raised up the same as I was. Right? We got paid before we came into the knowledge of the truth for knowing that we was Hebrew Israelites, and we got to keep the Sabbath day of the Lord and all His laws. We used to be them ones that I got paid on Friday. I'm finna go party. I'm finna go buy the liquor. I'm finna go buy this weed. And I'm finna be going out here smoking and drinking. Partying with our people. Let me get Isaiah chapter 8 and verse number 13. Right?
And we wonder why the payment and schedule is like that. The people that create this evil system do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Work you hard during the week, and you only off days is the Sabbath. Because he wants you to break it,
Friday and Saturday.
which is the Sabbath. He wants you to break it. That's the only time you get paid. You got money.
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
So it's like that's why we gotta keep fighting, man, and to keep the Sabbath, because that's what the evil man do. You work you hard, and he only give you the Sabbath off. What you know, you trying to go spend money, but you gonna break it and go against your Lord, go against our God.
As long as He keeps you in a sinful way, His economy continues to go on. He can still and continue to be above you when you're really supposed to be above Him.
Right.
You're supposed to be above Him in all things. But now, what do you see all our people at? The bottom of society. When you see them in the so-called white man neighborhood, in the white neighborhoods, where everything looks good, right? Ain't no potholes in the road, right there. All their cars look foreign, as you want to call it, right? But we're only at this low estate because we don't keep the commandments. And one of the commandments that our people love to break is breaking the Sabbath day. They love to break the Sabbath day. But now you gaining knowledge of the Sabbath day. So you should not. And I will tell you, do not break the Sabbath day, right? After gaining this knowledge, right? Bring this up real quick.
This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 17.
Bring it up.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
See? Now, this is equivalent with your situation. It ain't your wife, but it's your sister. It's a woman in general. Because Adam listened to that woman Eve, read on,
And hast eaten of the tree,
gained a certain type of knowledge, read on,
of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it.
something that you shouldn't listen to, read on.
Cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Now you become cursed. Now your ground is gonna be cursed. Everything you walk upon is gonna be cursed. Read on.
In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy
Now
life.
you're gonna become depressed, sorrowful, stressed out, thinking each and every way, I can't catch a break. Right? All because he listened to that woman Eve.
Yeah, there's more.
Are you gonna be Adam?
No.
If you ain't gonna be Adam, then you ain't gonna listen to that sister.
I'm gonna get that beer.
You can't even buy a beer, Elder.
I'm gonna get
I understand after getting this knowledge you might need
No,
something to drink.
I'm gonna get me a beer.
Right? But you don't
I ain't
need
gonna play the lottery though.
but that's equivalent to buying the lottery ticket. You still buy it. You're not supposed to buy anything right now. What you got in the refrigerator right now?
A lot of food.
You got something to drink?
Water.
Drink some water.
No, I'm gonna beer. I worked all day.
The Lord is telling you not to buy it. So you might not buy it. We broke that stronghold of buying the lottery ticket,
I
but
do that.
you
Look at
can't
my
buy
beer.
your beer either.
I got hot.
Now you're doing it to yourself.
Well, I gotta pay for my own sins, right? Right?
Hey, there's more, there's
that's
more.
I
wrong.
gotta repent for my own sins. Right?
Verse 19.
Well, I'm gonna show you something.
And in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground.
Now you gotta work even harder, right? You gotta work harder with the sweat of your brow, right? To eat some bread, right? We know.
For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
So you was made from dust, but this is a threat. The Lord is saying, hey, to the dust you gonna return, because you listened to that woman, because you listened to something that went against the Lord's laws, the Lord's commandments. He telling you, hey, do not buy on the Sabbath. That's something that we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to buy on the Sabbath. But if you go in and buying that beer, now, the Lord said you're gonna return to the dust again. Meaning I'm gonna kill you. And you're gonna end up dying in your iniquity.
Because I sent somebody in and get it for me.
Oh, that's suffering sin upon me. There ain't no way out of this, Elder. Alright? There ain't no way out of this. Right? That's you suffering sin upon them, like we read in Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. You'll be suffering sin upon that person. Now, instead of you dying, you want your neighbor to die. You said, what, Elder?
Go around the corner and then.
Just because
23 and 18.
You ain't half from us.
Just right.
It ain't from us.
I got
We
it.
just messengers.
Yeah.
I got to preach over here. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse number 30, because he was like, oh, well, we got to, pay for our own sin. Something like that, right?
Take for your own sins. Yeah.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse 30. But chapter 10 and verse 30. For we know him that have said, vengeance belongeth unto me. I recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing. It is a fearful thing. It's a fearful thing, a trembling of what? To fall into the hands of the living God. It's a fearful thing to go in, buy your beer, or to try to walk around this place, right, tiptoe, sneak around, and try to go buy your beer, and then you understand that you're going to fall into the hands of the Lord. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of God. Because the Lord telling you to choose life or death. You only got two choices here. There ain't no middle, nothing. There ain't no maybes, none of that. It's life or death. So if you go in there and buy that beer, you're choosing life. You're choosing death. Off the rip, you're choosing death. Now if you walk away from it, right, go home, drink your water, buy your beer at Saturday sundown, you're choosing life. Right? This is the start of you choosing life. You
go bad.
You gonna go back home and drink your water?
I ain't gonna drink no water. I'm gonna drink orange juice or something like that.
All praise to the Most
But
High.
I ain't going up in there.
All praise to the Most High.
Rocket through your Howard! Rocket through your Howard shot!
Rocket through your Howard shot!
Rocket through your Howard!
Rocket through your Howard!
Rocket through your Howard shot!
Rocket through your Howard shot!
Rocket through your Howard!
Rocket through your Howard!
Rocket through your Howard shot!
Rocket through your Howard shot!
Come yourself!
Come yourself!
Come yourself!
Come yourself!
Come yourself!
Come yourself!
Who got next?
We got next.
Who got next?
We got next.
Who got next? We got next. What we gonna do?
Take the king.
What we gonna do?
Take the king.
What we gonna do?
Take the king.
When?
Now. Now.
When?
Now.
How?
Bashima Mashak Yahusha.
If it has.
Bashima Mashak Yahusha.
Everybody say how?
Bashima Mashak Yahusha.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.